Hi, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, I'm gonna just actually we're gonna go with the flow because I've been oh, it's on. Okay, I've been actually just getting back. Excuse me. Getting back into the groove of things. So when I say get into the groove of things, just getting back to my regular schedule assignment, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't want to say program. Yeah, I can say program because I program my own reality. So if you guys can look at the title, if you can look at the title of my page, you will see like it's the home care coach. So I just want to do a little reintroduction. It's the home care coach. But and when people think of home care, they think of medical field, healthcare, wellness. So, yeah, I think of that too. And I was coaching people like before I made the transition to this page to like strictly um, the home care coach. I'm reaching out to like wellness, well-being. So that's like spiritual wellness, spiritual well-being. Home is, your heart, your physical body, your physical temple. So when you look at home, it doesn't necessarily have to be, pertaining to hospital and stuff like that, because this is home. You being in your body is home. So this was my second business. This whole setup was my second business, and I was tapping more into the self-care because I always been the person to be the caregiver to others. I started in 2010. I started a respite care, pretty much home care business. Pretty much you cater to elderly. Within that, you find people taking advantage of the giver. Your caring heart. You find yourself being burnt out. You find yourself feeling used. You find yourself getting abused, literally. You find yourself getting abused by people because it's like it's a sign on your forehead that I'm a giver. Oh, she's a giver, he's a giver. Take advantage of them. And people get in this rhythm of getting comfortable with taking advantage of you. So, I'm just giving y'all just a little, update on far as me. So when I transitioned to the home care coach, it was a coaching service. It was a coaching service, pretty much to help people start their own business. But the way that I was going about it was just make sure people wasn't burnt out, making sure that they're doing what they're doing from the heart, and they're doing it and they're happy. They're self-care, the self-love, the self-care. It was never coming in trying to be a psychiatrist. No, because if I wanted to go be that, I would have went to school to pursue that. I wanted this platform to be built from organic, from the root. If you look at my logo, you see that. That's from the root. That seed was planted and it grew from the root. As a woman, somebody plant a seed and it grow. Just like you go outside and you plant a seed in that soil, it will feed you forever. You will be abundant. That's where my logo, it is not just, oh, look, no, it has nothing to do with that. That started from the roots. That was nothing that I cared to share with anybody else, because that went through, this business was healing that I went through from not being appreciated in different fields. This is something that I built. Far as wellness and well-being, and get into healing crystals, because I don't like medicine. I'm coming from an addicted parent. So I know if I pick up anything, it's a possibility that I can be addicted to it. So I sit here and I embrace crystals. Reiki, meditation, because I chose meditation over being medicated. The only medicated thing that I do is natural. CBD, THC. So I started my business from scratch, from the heart of what I'm building. I didn't ask not for no one for nothing. This was a safe place just to help people don't spiral out. You're going through a spiritual awakening. You don't need to be institutionalized. Let's see what's going on the spiritual. Let's see where these elements at. Are you feeling the change? What's going on the spiritual? That self-care, that self-love, tapping into that. Because if you can't take care of yourself and you're not right here, how could you govern anyone? How could you be caring and caring from the heart to anyone if you ain't took care of yourself? So this platform is way deeper than somebody just hopping up here and want to do this and want to do that. I'm coming from a whole different place. I'm not trying to replace nobody's medical practitioner. I'm not trying to replace nobody's psychologist. I'm here to coach people through the spiritual, so they can bring some of that down on the physical and create their best reality. Life is what you make it. You make your life the best. I'm coming from where if somebody took a little time and talked to a person instead of kind of trying to medicate them so they can say and get them in the mood that they want to be in, I'm coming from the well-being. The wellness part, the well-being, the being, the light, the being. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from writing in a script so I can live in a big house. I'm not coming from misdiagnosis, diagnosing anybody with anything, just the charts to chart up. I'm not coming from that. I'm coming from the prevention. If you would have took care of home, you wouldn't have got institutionalized, where somebody let you didn't really love their job because they burnt out and didn't give you the best care. I'm coming from the prevention. And that prevention is making sure you're good. Make sure you're good first before you go into these fields trying to assist anyone else. That's where I'm coming from. So when I started this business, it was the attention was to help people that was pretty much getting used in the medical field. Having an alternative where people don't have to just throw their loved ones into institutions. I was making a way for them to stay safe at home, in the comfort of their own home. My business wasn't strictly governed by a system. It was governed by the system that I choose to build for it within my business. And I thought I could contract with other people and trust other people, because that's how we go. That's how life flow. But you have to be very careful who you let work for you, who you choose to work with. You have to make sure you're healthy. So if you need time, that's the difference between working for someone and working for yourself. Because your body starts to tell you, take care of home first. So when you start taking care of yourself, that's number one. Then you can go and give the best of your service. When you know you're not coming from a jealous space, you're not coming from an envious space, you're not coming from a hurt person space, you can go out there and be the best service that you can. But as an entrepreneur, you have to know how to recognize the self-checks before you set yourself out into the community giving half-ass service. And that's a lot of people, it just look good. They don't see the struggle that's in the back end of starting a business. Everybody just think that you can just create a name and, oh, my business is that. Oh, I can create a post and my business is that. It's way more than that. Could your business stand generational hand down? Could you give that business a generational stand to your children? Or could you give a recommendation? Where are you building from spiritually? Are you building just, some people build business just to get a couple dollars. They are not in that business. Anything that my name is attached to, I'm for that. And especially when you work for yourself, you got to do a little harder. You got to go through a whole lot more because you're working for self. So this platform was built based off of burnout, the neglect, the less care given for the ones who keep people businesses afloat. This platform was a burnout prevention to help you realize that you may need some little time to yourself as well. What's the number one field for burnout is the medical field. You got a lot of people that bring their problems into their jobs. That goes back to self-care, self-love, checking yourself. Because you should be able to check your egos at the door. That's why it's not the title, it's the person who holds it. So me, I will never feel bad from taking time for myself because I understood the assignment, and the assignment was me. So I will never feel bad from taking time for myself through grief, because grief can either make you go whatever which way. You can either lose it, you can choose to lose it, or you can choose to embrace it. And I done been around the tracks a whole lot of time. I had to embrace grief. So when it comes to, just a little tip for y'all, when it comes to building businesses, build them on a pure foundation. It don't matter. Don't think that you're just going to hop out there and be a millionaire. It takes time. And build them with trustworthy people that want to see you win. That when you win, we all win. It's not, oh, you win and I'm jealous. No, it's if you win, we all win. You build with people like that. That's how you do it. But just a little, more on this platform, you guys, if anybody is interested. It takes time. Stay at your job. Build up. Save your money. If you put 8 hours in at your 9 to 5, you should for sure come home and put at least an hour or so in. Because you might be tired depending on your schedule. You should always be putting a little time in for what you're building for you and your family. Because like I tell people, a person will love to tell you how to work for them, but they'll never tell you how to get in a tax bracket and how to live next door to them. Because a lot of people feel that you shouldn't even live in a neighborhood. And all skin folks ain't kin folks. And sometimes blood may be thicker than water, but water flow easier. So you have to really pick and choose when you're going into business, who you're going into business with, what you're going into business for. And is it making a change within your life and then in the world? Is it for $1, or do you really love doing what you do? Because when it comes from love and doing what you're doing, a lot of times you're not going to get paid for it. Because some people do things because they heart be in it, and some people be in it because they see in money. But your whole thing is know when these 3 topics, everybody need business coaching. It don't necessarily have to be home care. It's just making sure whatever you're doing it because you want to do it. Jewels. Okay? What jewels? What jewels? Dropping jewels. Listen to the jewels that people drop. Okay? Because a lot of people in this business world, they won't give you no information. Because some people want to get paid for certain things. See, me, I started out giving people shit for free. People building $1 million companies and did all types of stuff. Just off the wisdom. Just off of my wisdom. but they will never give you a credit for it. So you got to know when to be selfish. And putting yourself first, it ain't selfish. People sat back and done certain things to you, thinking you don't know, took credit for your work. Always secure yourself first. Because when you don't know something, that's how people play. They benefit off of the unwise. Just say it like that. People benefit off of the things you don't know. Okay? So, jewels, tips, and keys. In conclusion, listen to when people dropping jewels in the area of whatever it is that you're studying. You look for the jewels, okay? Embrace the good tips, okay? And you hold the keys, but everybody should not have access. So remember those 3 things: the jewels, the tips, and the keys, because you will have a conclusion to access whatever it is that you're trying to access. But remember, you always do whatever you're doing for you. It don't matter if you're the only person that support it. Make sure it's done. You're doing it for you, because you appreciate it more. Sometimes it's going to take you a little longer, but you appreciate it more. Okay? So, y'all, that wasn't a little read. That was just on the business end. Like I said, this platform is just going to be different things, because I am about to step back into, focusing on my business. But it's like me, I'm balancing between the spiritual and the physical. I embrace spirituality in my business practices, because actually it done got me real far. I don't push what my knowing on to no one else, because it may not be time for them to know certain things. All right? But yeah, that's the whole thing. So yeah, the home care coach, I'm gonna make this platform grow. It doesn't matter how many stones and rocks people continue to throw. You can't throw certain things, because I don't even. That's why if you go find my other business pages, I literally know how I feel. I'm not just popping up talking about, oh, I'm this and I'm that. No, I done had offices. I done help people. I know how it feel to fall and get back up. That's how it is. I'm the type of person, I don't mind sharing my accomplishments. And I don't mind letting people know my downfalls. So, yeah. So, if I had any tips for anybody, the tips and jewels, when people's trying to give you certain tips, you take key to that. When people dropping certain jewels, just take a pen, especially if it's a study that you're interested in. Just take notes. Alrighty, you guys. Peace.